films, television, radio and theatre in Britain. Already during the medieval times there were jesters. And these jesters, they were at the royal court by the nobility and the monarch, the king and queen. And they were telling jokes, and they were making fun of people to the amusement. Then William Shakespeare, he was an author. And he wrote plays, so theatre plays. And in his plays he wrote about kings and queens, sometimes fictionalized and dramatized. He also wrote about ordinary men and women. The important part, he included in some of his works comic characters, so which were funny. And then in the 18th century it became popular to attack politicians in a satirical way, so to make fun of them, and also the monarchy, the monarch and the royal family. In the 1840s there was The Punch, a satirical magazine doing exactly that. And there's, for example, The Private Eye, and that is today a satirical magazine. During the 19th century, so 1800 something, there were Gilbert and Sullivan, and they were writing also comic operas. For example, HMS Pinafore, or The Pirates of Penzance, or The Mikado. And then in 1896, the first movies were shown publicly in Britain, and they became very fast popular. Then there were people like Morecambe and Weiser working in music halls, British music halls, and that is a form of variety theatre. And they then switched over to television in the 50s and 60s, when television became the main source of entertainment in Britain. And they were doing their comedies. Comedies of the 50s and 60s are, for example, the Carry On movies, or The Ladykillers, or Passport to Pimlico. And in 1952 there started in London's West End, which is also called the Theatreland, Dame Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap. And that is the theatre play, the play having the longest run since its initial run. And there are also more in the recent time musicals done, for example by Baron Andrew Lloyd Webber and Sir Tim Rice, Jesus Christ Superstar, Evita, Cats, or The Phantom of the Opera. Now, when in the television, they developed situation comedies, sitcoms, and they were oftentimes set at workplace or in family situations. And then in the 60s, there was, for example, that was We Could Wars, a format running, or then later in the 80s and 90s, Spitting Image. And in 1969, Monty Python and the Flying Circus started to make a progressive form of comedy, and also stand-up comedy is in Britain sometimes used. And there are movies like the Harry Potter franchise and the James Bond franchise from Britain, who are two of the highest grossing film franchises in the world. And there are actors. For example, Sir Lawrence Oliver, or Sir Rex Harrison, David Niven, or Richard Burton. And also there are actors who won the Academy Awards, the Oscars. And the British equivalent to the Oscars is the BAFTA. So people who have won the Oscar, for example, are Sir Anthony Hopkins, or Colin Firth, Tilda Swinton, Kate Winslet, or Dame Judi Dench. Now, and there are different types of television channels in the United Kingdom. And there is a wide variety of programs on it. And there are even some for specific parts, specifically of the United Kingdom. There are in Gaelic, a different language from English, some television channels for Scotland, or in Irish Gaelic for Northern Ireland, or in Welsh there is one for Wales. And there is the BBC. That is the largest broadcaster of the world, the British Broadcasting Corporation. And they have also radio channels. And on radio channels of the United Kingdom, there are different genres running. There are, for example, radio channels just for one music genre. And that all is according to the Life in UK Test Handbook on several pages, for example, 91, 92 and 93.